Welcome to the gentlemanly art of pipe smoking. Not Beards Without Borders. This is completely different. Beards Without Borders will be tomorrow on my Patreon channel. I moved it over to Patreon. So for those of you that are Patreon members, you'll be getting Beards Without Borders tomorrow. But I had a haul today from the Old Carolina Pipe Cottage in South Carolina. And I'm going to show you the tobacco that I got. And I'm going to fire up a brand new pipe that I've been wanting for a while. But let's talk about the first tobacco, Virginia Cream, which was something I got probably 2 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. Maybe one of my favorite Virginia tobaccos, no doubt. Dorchester, Esoterica. This is a rich, full, matured Virginia with Louisiana Perique. I'm looking forward to that. McBaron Golden Extra. This is a larger tin. It's a Vey Burr, a Virginia, or a Burr Vey, whatever you want to call it. It's burley with a little bit of Virginia in it, and Golden Virginia. Burley tobaccos and Golden Virginia. Pressed, stored, and then rubbed out. So this is going to be pretty good. I'll probably have this tonight, but for right now, I am going to try, for the first time, this is called Edward G. Robinson's Pipe Blend. And apparently this was available over the counter many, many years ago. I just opened it up, and I really like it. And you know me, I'm really not an aromatic fan at all. If I go with an aromatic, then I will buy a very small amount, like an ounce at a time. I don't even want a whole tin of an aromatic, but I wanted this. I'm going to be puffing on this in a brand new pipe that I'll show you in just a second. And then, of course, one of my favorites, Old Dark Fired. Just such an exquisite blend. There's nothing else out there like it. If you've never had Old Dark Fired, you'll see what I mean when you get it. And the pipe reveal is a Bing's favorite. I got the brown rusticated one, and I'll just show you compared to, let's say, the Savinelli 673, the Saltinelli. It's a little bit longer. Okay? And a very, very slightly bent stem. I do have a balsa filter in there that came with the pipe. But I'm going to load this up with Edward G. Robinson. But let's just look at the beauty of this thing here. Watch. Of course, you know I'm a grain fanatic. But that grain on the top there is just magnificent. Let me see if I have to clean off the lens here. That should be better. I don't know if you can see that. It's magnificent. And it's light. And I got this from Old Carolina Pipe Cottage. It is a clencher, so it's light enough to clench, or I can hold it in my hand. And it's not so long that it's going to bounce. Remember, I had the Missouri Meerschaum Cobbett Shire, and this thing kind of like bounces in your mouth. This one doesn't. But I have never smoked this, so you're going to be with me for my maiden smoking of the Bing's favorite, as in Bing Crosby, and Edward G. Robinson's Pipe Blend. I opened it up. Just right away, the smell just jumps out at you. It reminds me of the pipe stores back in the 60s, I'll be honest with you, when I would go into... Right now you go into a pipe store and half the store is dedicated to cigars. Okay? I grew up where there were pipe stores, pipe tobacco, those big giant ginger jars, a whole wall of them, and a countertop, and then another wall of accessories, lighters and tampers and that kind of thing. But when you walked in, this was what you smelled. Like, this literally was, you just walk, even as a kid, you walked in and you went, it was like being in a candy store, because this is what you smelled. This type of aromatic. So what do we have here? It is a subtle aromatic with a natural smooth burly nuttiness and a flavored black Cavendish taste. Fruity plum notes are given a flavor push from a hint of Latakia. It's an aromatic mixture. So interesting, right? Very interesting. You can see the burley in there. It's brown. It's moist, but not goopy. You can see little bits of Cavendish. And as far as the Latakia, very, very little. This would not be considered an English blend. It's an aromatic blend. So I'm just going to basically put, oh, and the cut. It's like a longer shag cut. Can you see that? Longer pieces. But that smell just takes me back, literally takes me back 50 years. And I'm only going to load it up halfway. I'm not going to overload it for its maiden voyage. All I did was just drop it in there and then just kind of go like that. But you can see it's a very loose pack. Put the top back on. This is going to be really something. I'll probably put a piece of lettuce or an apple slice in there eventually if I feel that it's starting to dry out. But as soon as I opened that up, it was one of those olfactory senses. It just brought me back. It brought me back to downtown Schenectady, New York. Here we go. What kind of tamper am I going to use? Let me see. Do I have a tamper in my pocket? Is that a tamper in your pocket, or are you happy to see me? I had a tamper here. Where was it? I had a Rattray's tamper. What did I do with it? I want to do this the right way. I want to do this the right way. Hold on one second. Hold on. Well, I didn't find my Rattray's tamper. And you know how that goes. I mean, I just had it in my hand 20 minutes ago. I will find it a year from now. And what's going to come out of my mouth was, that's where that tamper went. So today, instead, I'm using this briar tamper. It looks like a hammer, the head of a hammer. Mike Rizzo got this for me from Boswell's. And it has treated me very well. So just very, very light, basically just using the weight to pack down the ribbons. Let's fire it up. Maiden Voyage, never been smoked before. Bing's Favorite by Savinelli. Wait till that goes out. Just, like I said, I'm not jamming it. I'm just using pretty much the weight of the tamper to kind of bring the ashes down a little bit. Wait till it completely extinguishes. Now, the actual light, the true light. lots of smoke. Let's see if I can get this aroma now. Very subtle. Not goopy. This is not, no offense to you lane 1Q people, but this is not lane 1Q. Or what is that one Caribbean something or other that like you can almost like squeeze like the rum juice out of it, whatever that was. Very pleasant, very pleasant. The room note, magnificent. The beard note, like what I can tell is just kind of lingering in my beard, is magnificent. I don't smoke indoors, but if I did, Edward G. Robinson blend would be the kind that I would, because it would make my study smell magnificent. The blend burns a little hot. It probably should have been, I should have taken a pinch and put it out for about 30 minutes. And without the balsa filter in there, it would be hot. So my guess is that this, when this actually, now that I pulled open the tin, and this starts to dry out just a little bit, but not completely, not turning into like dried grass, it's going to have a nice consistency. Puff it slow, puff it slow. You can feel the bowl heating up. I can feel it heating up. Puff it slow. The Bing is nice. Yeah, I'm really quite pleased with this. It's not a church warden. It's not even a mini church warden. It's just kind of an extended shank. It's a light pipe, so it is clenchable. I could see myself going to an outdoor event and smoking this, you know, off to the side somewhere. I do like the rusticated finish. Can you see that? I really do like that. It's a little rugged. I mean, it's not a tuxedo look. Like, for instance, I have a, where is it? I have that leather-clad pipe. Well, for instance, this is like a fancier pipe. Like if you're going to an event and you're dressed in a tux or a suit. Okay. If you could take a falcon and go to a formal event. A derby is a leather-clad, I have a leather-clad stitched pipe. To me, I call this kind of like my black tie pipe. And it gets a lot of attention. It's weird. When people see me smoking this, they're like, is that leather on there? I'm like, yep, it sure is. I don't even know if they make these anymore. I got 2 brand new ones. I got one that has an oval opening for flake. It's incredible. But we're focusing right now on Bing's favorite. And it comes in a variety of colors and finishes. I like the swirl. I don't know if you can see that. That beautiful brown and black. It's almost like a caramel swirl in the stem. And then, of course, the golf club hitting the golf ball mark on there in gold. Very nice. I think it's a classy looking pipe. I would not call it a workhorse. Like when I look at the Savinelli 673, the Sultanelli, that's a workhorse. That's a workhorse. I never feel this getting hot, ever, when I'm puffing on this. The Bing's favorite, it's heating up a little bit, but that's because the tobacco wasn't dried out, and I was in way too much of a hurry to try this. Have you ever tried Edward G. Robinson's blend? What is Edward G. Robinson's famous phrase? Put it down below. When people do, like when comedians have done impressions of Edward G. Robinson, the actor, what do they do? What's the one line they always do? Put it down below. I'd like to hear that. I feel I want to say it, but I'd rather give you a little quiz. This could easily be an all-day smoking tobacco. No questions asked. All-day smoker. Also, this is, for some of you people, you smoke in your vehicle. I will smoke a pipe in my truck. I also have an ionizer that I plug into the power port that literally eliminates any leftover smell. But I won't smoke usually a Latakia blend in the truck. Won't do it. I won't do it. And I won't smoke a cigar in the truck. This blend, Edward G. Robinson pipe blend, I could smoke this in the truck because I could see myself actually pulling out the ionizer, taking a ride, like going somewhere while I'm smoking a Bing and that tobacco. And then the next day, getting in the truck and then just be like, how nice. I used to call my pipes my beard freshener, like air fresheners. I call it my beard freshener. So, yeah, like, as I'm smelling my beard right now, it smells nice. Seriously, to me, there's like no beard oil in the world that can make your beard smell as nice as a quality, top-notch aromatic. I'm not talking about like some goopy chemical kind of thing. See what I just did there? When the pipe is about to go out and there's just a tiny bit of smoke, I like consider it like a challenge to see if I can get it fully fired up again, just by little sips. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That probably came from being a Boy Scout, when you would take a spark, from like a flint and, those fire starters, or you have one match and you have, it's a windy, wet night and you have one match, and you learned how to get a roaring fire going from a spark or one match. Thoroughly enjoyable. All right, this is what I'm noticing. If I hold it by the body, it's hot, only because I didn't dry it out. And a damper tobacco literally is going to create a hotter smoke. But I notice that if I hold it like this, I'm not feeling any heat. Heat? Ouch. This way, nothing. And the fact with the rusticated finish, there's more surface area for the heat to dissipate as opposed to a pipe that has a smooth finish. Like here's a Peterson. Like if that briar gets hot, it's hot. There's no escaping it. It's hot. And I'm noticing already that I can kind of escape the hotness on this one just by holding it top and bottom, just like this. See? My elbow is on the arm of the chair. I'm doing it again. It's almost a challenge, kind of like let it go out and then see if it can bring it back. Digging it. I'm totally digging it. And this pipe tobacco doesn't seem like it would really ghost a pipe. And I don't taste any Latakia in here at all. Although it says there is Latakia in here. The Bing's favorite pipe is lighter and smaller than what you think. When you look at it in the online catalogs, it looks a little bit longer, but it's not. It looks longer than this, I should say. But this is a little bit longer than, a standard pipe. What is a standard pipe? I held up the Savinelli. Here's a standard pipe right here. See that? So I'd say it's a good 1.5 to 2 inches longer than just a regular pipe. So regular pipe, Bing's favorite. Now here it's 25 minutes already, and I only filled this bowl up halfway. So puffing slowly, a fully packed Bing's favorite will last 45 minutes to an hour. I'm digging it. Do you have a Bing's favorite? What do you think of it? Tell me your opinion of it down below. I'd love to see what you think of your Bing's favorite pipe. Well, just about at the end of that, let me just take... Okay, there we go. Just fine gray ash. It's a fine gray ash. I don't know if you can see in there. Probably not. There was no dottle left. The draft was perfect. The draw was absolutely perfect. Literally perfect. Let me just find something to wipe this with real quick here. I always keep a microfiber cloth by my side just to clean the pipe real quick. Now, let's take it apart. Remember, I got this from Old Carolina Pipe Cottage. Twist, twist, twist. I'm surprised it came out because it's hot. And I would never do that normally. I usually wait till it cools off. But for the sake of time, let's see. Not too moist. Not too moist. Nope, not at all. I also got some pipe cleaners. Do you guys like Long's pipe cleaners? I have tried so many. I have tried so many types. And I do like Long's pipe cleaners. You can get all kinds of bargains on different ones, but the Longs are literally, they're just thicker, more absorbent. Like I have these kind here that have the little bristles on them. They're okay for the more gnarly pipes that I have that really need that cleaning inside, but these Longs are super absorbent. I don't just go in and out, I kind of twirl it a little bit and then out like that. So not a lot of residue. That's cool. I take my microfiber cloth and I just clean the tenon and then just polish that up a little bit. Man, isn't that beautiful? I love that. Love it. Put it back together. Can you reuse a balsa filter? You can. You can. That's there. You know, there's not a lot of rules. I've had people like try to school me on stuff. Like, it's obvious you know nothing about pipe smoking because you did X, Y, Z. You know, there's always someone that's gonna, you know, try to school you. Always. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter who you are. All right. So tonight, for Beards Without Borders, which I will be putting on Patreon for my Patreon subscribers, a lot of people wanted Beards Without Borders to come back, and I only do like reviews and more philosophical stuff here with the pipes and no promotion of anything. I'm gonna smoke the McBaron Golden Extra. I'm going to open that up now because I'm going to take a little bit out and dry it for tonight. Well, I tell you what, that was my plan. A lot of you know that I broke my hand in a cycling accident a couple months ago, and I just have no strength left in the hand. Like, no strength. I can't even open this up. I can't open up a jar of pickles or mayonnaise. So I go to the spot where there isn't a thread, okay? Just an average spot where there isn't a thread, and I go up, all the way up, and then just turn it a little bit. There we go. And I just felt the air, that vacuum just release the lid. So it comes right off like it's nothing. There we go. So let's get a little tin note on this. Oh, that is beautiful. That's, you know what this is? This reminds me of just taking a ride out in Lancaster County on the day that they're cutting the hay. I remember being on the motorcycle, and if you have a hay fever or any kind of like seasonal allergy kind of thing going on, this is not for you. Riding through Lancaster County, Pennsylvania on the day that they're cutting the hay and stopping at an Amish market, getting some vegetables off of the wagons and that kind of thing, and some meats that I can't even pronounce the names. But that's what this smells like. It's grass, a little sweetness in the grass, and a little bit of brown sugar, like a little bit of caramelized brown sugar. That's what it reminds me of. Like when you're at the county fair and they're making the caramel corn, but they're taking the brown sugar and the butter and they put in that big giant kettle and they start to melt it. That's what I'm smelling. But this is not an aromatic, okay? It's not an aromatic. I'm giving you the natural notes. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this and put it out right now to dry a little bit, because I will be smoking this later for Beards Without Borders. That will go on the Cadillac cutting board. Why do I call it the Cadillac cutting board? Because I test drove a Cadillac. I test drove a Cadillac. All right, you want to hear the story why I call it the Cadillac cutting board? I test drove a Cadillac, and guess what they did? They gave me, it was called a, I don't know, it was like farm to table kind of thing, where they took people who were interested, who were documented as Cadillac owners and drivers and fans. And what they did was they hear something wild. They literally gave us a Cadillac. We met at this place for cocktails and hors d'oeuvres and stuff, and then literally they gave us the keys, and we went outside, pressed the key fob, and whatever, you know, there was 100 Cadillacs lined up. Press the key fob, and whatever car lit up, that was the one you were driving. So we went from this mixer with hors d'oeuvres and cocktails, me and my lady guest, and drove the brand new Cadillac to this restaurant, which is kind of a farm-to-table restaurant. And one of the gifts that they gave us was a cat. You can see it's kind of like laser etched in there. So this is the Cadillac cutting board. So you've heard me in the past talk about putting my tobacco on the Cadillac cutting board to dry out. So what'll happen is I will put this tobacco right now on the Cadillac cutting board for later. I will let it dry out. And then I'll put the top on. That way I'm not going to have a hot session. Many of you don't know this. I gotta show you this. For those of you that are new to my channel, new to pipe smoking, not everything that goes on that cutting board ends up in the pipe. There's always like some crumbs left. Okay? And what I do is I take a razor blade, and I scrape what's left. All right, let's just say, hold on a second here. All right, so let's just say this goes in my pipe, and then what's left here, I bring all those little pieces together, and then what I do, you're going to think this is totally obsessive maniac stuff, but just watch. There's a method to my madness. Every year I create what I call my cutting board blend. So it's kind of like the scraps from the Cadillac cutting board, and I put them in here. Now this, I used to have every year, you know, the 2019 Cadillac cutting board blend, the 2019 blend, the 2020 blend. Actually, this is probably the last 3 years, because I've actually cut down on pipe smoking. So this is 3 years of Cadillac cutting board scraps, and of all the tobaccos that I smoke. So what I do is I usually just, you know, once a month I turn it over like that. And then what I would do is, for many years, I would find, I would like purchase these jars. Let me find a jar. I would purchase like mason jars, you know, like a mason jar. And I would put the cutting board blend in a mason jar with a ribbon around it and a handwritten label on top. And that would go to family members. They would get my, like for Christmas, like for instance, like I have enough here for Christmas this year. So I will probably give my 2 brothers each a mason jar filled with 2021s, and this goes back a couple of years, probably 2021 and 2020 cutting board blend. What does it smell like? Because it's got everything in it. Smells like heaven. It smells like heaven. I mean, it's beautiful. So that's my cutting board blend, and that's got every possible kind of pipe tobacco in it. I mean, I just want to like eat it. It's magnificent. I got Latakia in there, Perique, cherry blend, rum, maple, Virginia, burley, London blend, a little bit of nightcap, just everything, like every premium tobacco in the world in one jar. So that is my cutting board blend. So I have this right now out here for tonight. I'm going to go in, I'm making a steak and some ratatouille for dinner. But this is what's drying out. And I will be having this tonight in the Savinelli Bing's Favorite. See that? Right there. And this will be my Beards Without Borders choice for tonight. Maybe I'll end up coming up with, who knows, maybe Seattle Pipe Club will want to do a Beards Without Borders blend, right? You never know. Stranger things have happened. Bruno's cutting board blend or something. No, that sounds more like That doesn't sound right, does it? So tonight I'll be doing Beards Without Borders, and that'll show up on Patreon tomorrow morning. So thanks for hanging out with me with the maiden voyage of the Bing's favorite, Bing Crosby. I love it. I love it. And I got this from, and all these tobaccos from Old Carolina Pipe Cottage.com. Great customer service. Everything's packed wonderful. He always throws in like a little gift in there, something above and beyond. And he's online, and he is transitioning to be a actual brick and mortar store, just like your favorite brick and mortar store. So I'm really happy about that. That's kind of cool. So when I get down to the Greenville, North Carolina area, or Aiken, I'm sorry, not North Carolina, South Carolina, Greenville, Aiken, South Carolina, I hope when there's the actual grand opening, you know what, maybe I'll do that. When he has a grand opening of the brick and mortar store, I will plan a meetup at his store in South Carolina. Would you go? Would you commit to going to that? And we'll do a live broadcast of Beards Without Borders and have some good fellowship and clink some glasses and smoke some pipes. And I would expect everyone to buy a pipe and a couple ounces of tobacco or a tin, and to kick off the grand opening of Old Carolina Pipe Cottage. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? So, all right. Well, until then, get yourself a Bing's favorite. I don't know how many he has in stock. I have no idea. But I really enjoyed it, and I'll be enjoying this a lot. I know that. It just feels good. It's a good feel. So, cheers, my friends.